Get ready for a once-in-a-lifetime experience. During the next 19 years, we will witness huge changes in our society and related to technology and science. Hello stars, welcome back to my channel. On the 19th of November 2024, a very important astrological event will take place. Pluto moves into Aquarius. This is something that happens only once in about 250 years, and this transit will trigger huge changes. Let's drink a coffee together and I will tell you everything you need to know about it. Watch this video until the end to find out how Pluto in Aquarius influences our society, how it affects you personally, and what you can do in order to use its energy in the best way possible. Pluto is a so-called generational planet because it affects an entire generation of people and has a huge impact on world politics and economics. Before moving into Aquarius, Pluto was in Capricorn for about 15 years, this being the zodiac sign that rules over finances. While Pluto was there, we had a worldwide financial crisis, a stock market crash, and lately a worldwide increase in inflation. During the next 19 years, Pluto will focus less on finances and more on other topics that I will talk about later in this video. First, let's take a look at the timeline. We already got a taste of Pluto in Aquarius in 2023 and for a few months in 2024. In 2023, Pluto was there between March and June. Then it was retrograde and returned to Capricorn. It entered Aquarius again in January 2024. Between September and November 2024, we got the chance to finish unsolved matters related to Capricorn because Pluto moved once again back to this zodiac sign. On the 19th of November 2024, Pluto returns to Aquarius, where it will remain until 2043. Between March and September 2043, it will be in Pisces, but turns retrograde again and will visit Aquarius one last time between September 2043 and January 2044. In astrology, Pluto symbolizes power, power struggles, obsession, death, destruction, but also rebirth, transformation, and reinvention. It usually triggers a crisis. A period of time begins during which the old and useless must be destroyed in order to make room for something new. I also want to mention another side of Pluto because I will talk about this later. In mythology, Pluto is the god of the underworld. In astrology, this means that Pluto is also related to everything that is hidden. Secrets, psychology, our subconscious, but also things like mineral resources that we find under the surface of the earth. Like Pluto, Aquarius also symbolizes change, but in a different way. The water bearer is a rebel and a visionary who needs freedom, especially the freedom to experiment and to be original. This zodiac sign represents more than any other the future, which is why it also stands for progress, technology, and combined for technological progress. But Aquarius is more than that. This sign also rules over big masses of people, teams, community, or society. It rules over topics like human rights or social equality. And last but not least, it represents technologies that unite people, like the internet. No wonder that the biggest social media platforms were founded when another generational planet, Neptune, was in Aquarius and Pluto was transiting Sagittarius, a sign that helps us to expand our horizon. Now let's see what happens when Pluto is in Aquarius. As I said at the beginning of this video, during the next 19 years we will witness huge changes in our society and related to technology and science. Before we go into detail, allow me to speak a bit about having natal Pluto in Aquarius, because all children born during the next 19 years will have their natal Pluto in Aquarius. The only exceptions are babies born between September and November 2024, when Pluto returns to Capricorn, and between March and September 2043, when Pluto goes a few steps into Pisces. These persons will be visionaries. They will be free thinkers, eccentric, rebellious. During their childhood, they will witness important changes in society, which will make them question old structures. They will fight for more social justice and human rights while making technological progress happen even faster than it's happening now. At this point, I want to mention one very famous person who had her natal Pluto in Aquarius, Queen Elizabeth I of England, who reigned for more than 40 years. Her reigning period is known as the Elizabethan Age or Golden Age, when a lot of important social, political, economic, and cultural shifts happened. By the way, in her birth chart, besides Pluto in Aquarius, Neptune is in Pisces, exactly where Neptune is right now and up until the beginning of 2026. My coffee is getting cold, but I still want to take some time to mention what happened in the past when Pluto was in Aquarius, because we must know the past in order to understand the future. Pluto was discovered in 1930, so this is the first time it is in Aquarius since scientists discovered it. But of course, even if we didn't know it, Pluto was still there, influencing humankind. When Pluto was in Aquarius in the 16th century, two major changes related to society happened. Firstly, the death of the last Inca king, Atahualpa, which led to the fall of the Inca Empire and to the disappearance of this culture. Secondly, this is when the separation of the Church of England from the Roman Catholic Church happened. The last time until now when Pluto was in Aquarius was in the 18th century. During that time there were huge power shifts in politics and in the society. It's the time of the French Revolution, when the monarchy was abolished and replaced by the First Republic. Also during this time the Treaty of Paris was signed, ending the American Revolutionary War and recognizing on an international level that the 13 colonies were an independent nation. As I mentioned earlier, Pluto in Aquarius also brings progress in science and technology. An important event that happened the last time Pluto was in this sign is the discovery of the smallpox vaccine. Similar to the time we are living in now, in the 18th century Pluto was in Capricorn and in Aquarius, and that's the time that marked the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. There were huge changes related to the economy, so the sign of Capricorn, and then to society and technology, represented by Aquarius. Moving over to social justice, that is also ruled by Aquarius. The last time Pluto was in this sign, the Age of Enlightenment was at its peak. Moreover, in France and in the United States, we got two important declarations that defined a list of fundamental human rights. Now let's see what this important transit means for us. More than any other planet in astrology, Pluto represents changes and rebirth. Aquarius wants to see progress, meaning that nothing can remain as it is. These two energies are now combined and will lead to very important changes. It's time for the world to get rid of the old and to undergo a transformation. First of all, we will witness an important advancement in science and technology, especially in the field of medicine and healthcare. Things that will be invented or discovered during this time will have a huge impact on the entire world. As I mentioned earlier, Pluto represents the underworld and the unknown. Especially combined with Aquarius, it also stands for exploration. It wouldn't surprise me at all if scientists started to explore the deepest spots of the oceans. Humankind will also go further into the space than it has ever done before. And talking about the underworld, in 2023, China started drilling the deepest hole in the Earth's crust. This exploration of what is beneath the Earth's surface will continue in the next 19 years. Ultimately, this could lead to discovering new materials or new sources of energy. Secondly, the society as a whole will change. More and more people will fight for certain rights, for social fairness, and against old structures. During the next 19 years, there will be many riots and revolutions. In many countries, the population will overthrow the old political and economic system. This could be, for example, the time when capitalism will be replaced by another system. At this point, it's important to mention other transits that happen during the next years and that also support this kind of changes. Uranus in Taurus between 2018 and 2026 demands for changes regarding, amongst others, the economy and the environment. And we also have Saturn in Pisces between 2023 and 2026, symbolizing the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new age. Another cycle that ends in 2026 is that of Neptune that is currently in Pisces and will move into Aries. I expect some changes to happen already before 2026, but especially from that point onwards, society will be different than it is now. Even if the social structures will take a longer time to adjust, our way of thinking will change. Our value system will change. My expectations and my hope are that people will stop focusing on the material, so for example on acquiring wealth, but start thinking more about other values as well as their physical and mental health. That we will care more about each other and about our environment, that we will become less selfish, and that we will work together to build a stronger future for all of us and not just for some individuals. One last aspect that I want to mention are newer technologies like the internet, the digital world, and the artificial intelligence. These are some areas that will evolve during the next years. We will also see a shift related to the way we use media in general, but especially social media and online platforms. Artificial intelligence is here to stay and will change many aspects of our life. Another important change that will happen is the way we consume information and the role of the media. We already see an effort to stop the spreading of fake news, and in the next years people will become even more aware of false information. Many persons will stop trusting newspapers, TV stations, and other media that are owned or financed by powerful people or companies and that would manipulate the public opinion. People will listen to independent media outlets instead. This also means that independent content creators, for example podcasters, will gain more followers. Actually, content creators like YouTubers or TikTokers will be the new celebrities and will have a bigger impact than, let's say, Hollywood stars. Talking about YouTube and TikTok, the way we use social platforms will also change. We will stay connected to each other via the internet more than ever, but we will become more aware of the time we spend on social media. We will use certain platforms with more purpose and not just to scroll through our timeline for hours. This also means that the platforms must do something to provide their users real value, otherwise some of the big social platforms could lose their users and ultimately disappear in the next few years. Now you know how Pluto in Aquarius will influence humankind, but let's also talk about the way it influences each of us as individuals. Here is some general information, and I will also upload the horoscope for each zodiac sign. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn the notifications on if you want to find out what Pluto in Aquarius means for your zodiac sign. On a personal level, the current transit will trigger important changes. But this time it's not only about changes that we need to make because we are forced by the circumstances, but more about changes that we want to make. Especially the period until 2026 is very important for introspection. This is the time when you should be very honest with yourself and find out what your heart really desires. Then find a way to make your dreams come true. Pluto in Aquarius will support you, especially if you want to do something for the greater good, something to serve other people, and if you collaborate with others. Be prepared for changes in many areas of your life. As I said, ideologies and systems will change on a global level, and this will also affect you. Let's take your job, for example. People will start thinking more and more as a community. Fighting with all means to get a better position and selfish actions won't be accepted anymore. Instead, people will value your ability to work in a team and to quickly adapt to your professional environment. But that doesn't mean that everyone will have to blend in. At the contrary, your uniqueness will be appreciated as long as you are not arrogant and selfish and as long as you are truly yourself. Talking about everybody being different, people who can't accept diversity, for example racists, will become social outcasts because such a behavior won't be accepted anymore. Another change in our professional life is that companies will be forced to guarantee a better work-life balance. I'm talking now about how this transit influences you, but let me also tell you how you can influence what happens. All of us have a lot of opinions on a lot of matters, but we usually don't try to make some huge change in society because we think that we don't have the power to change the system. Well, Pluto in Aquarius gives you exactly this power. Each of us will have more power than ever before to change something, but we must work together in order to do that. Whatever it is that you want to do for the greater good, for the environment and so on, now it's the time to do it. Go out and help someone. Go out and plant a flower or a tree. It will have a greater impact than you think. Because Pluto represents death, many people see it as the big bad wolf, as a bad planet. But let me tell you that in astrology nothing is only good or only bad. The positive side of Pluto is that it also means rebirth and transformation. And this is exactly how you should use the energy of Pluto in Aquarius to your advantage. Start a process of transformation and change your life. As I said earlier, this is a good time for introspection. So use it to think about what really matters to you in life and about who you really want to be. Yes, I know this is easier said than done. Most of us don't know what they really want, which is also why we are oftentimes unhappy. We can't be happy if we don't even know what we want and what would make us happy. You will think that I'm crazy, but I honestly recommend you to do the following. Write your own obituary. What do you want people to say about you when you are dead? Do you want them to remember you as a good parent, as a rich person, as someone who has helped other people, as a good ballet dancer or an amazing cook? Whatever it is that you write in that obituary, that is what you should aim for. That is your dream, and that is what you should pursue in the next few years. Let's say that you have done that, you know what your goals are, and Pluto will help you to reach them. But there are more ways to use the energy of Pluto in Aquarius to your advantage. You should, for example, connect more with other people. Start talking more often with your family or friends. Get involved into group activities and, most important of all, help other people. Use your knowledge and skills to give something back to your community, and you will get a lot of good things from the universe in return. This is everything you need to know about Pluto in Aquarius. Soon I will upload the horoscope for each zodiac sign. If you want to know how this transit affects your sign, please subscribe to my channel and turn the notifications on. You should also know that Pluto in Aquarius is not the only important transit happening now. To find out more, please watch my next video. Until the next time, shine bright like the stars.